Grant Mountjoy, I've been hearing about Rock the Boat, and you are part of it.
That's right, Liz. Yeah, there are 4 of us in Rock the Boat, and we are trying to change things in council for the better.
What would you love if you had anything, if I said blue sky at Grant, tell me what you stand for. What would be the ideal form of local government you'd like to bring in?
Well, a local government that takes the choice back to the residents of Auckland, because at the moment we feel like that choice has been taken away from the residents of Auckland. The existing councils say that they have the consensus of the people, but other people in the council refute that completely. And they say that really the consensus of the people has been deliberately buried by City Vision.
It's worrying because I hear that Phil Goff in his early days was one of Jacinda Ardern's mentors. He has cut down more beautiful 100-plus-year-old trees. He's put ridiculous cycle lanes so I can't even drive on Queen Street anymore without thinking, am I going to get a fine? He just seems so autocratic, and I've never seen him at anything where I've been able to talk to him, nothing that feels direct. So how will you make the changes, given that a lot of people in government have become these autocrats?
Right, well, we're running for the local board.
Yeah.
We won't really be able to force through a lot of changes. We have to be realistic. But we can certainly try to expose what's happening and take it to the public. And that's our main aim. We want the public to know. We want everything to be aired in a public forum.
That is such a valid role in a democracy. So you're like a foot in the door. They can't just slam the door and do it behind closed doors.
We're not going to be sitting there saying yes, yes, and ticking boxes. We're going to be saying, okay, right, well, let's take it to the constituents and see what they think about that. Because at the moment, changes are being forced through, literally forced through, because we had, at the meeting we were at in, it was in the central city. One of the City Vision team got up and she said, these changes are going to happen. She used that language there. So she was saying, whether you like it or not, everything in the master plan, in the 2050 master plan, is going to happen. You know, so I mean, what choice have the people got? Now, that master plan involves turning Auckland into a pedestrian precinct. You know, Victoria Street all the way down to Victoria Park will become a pedestrian precinct. Most of the roads will become like Federal Street, where there is no curb. The footpath and the roadway are just one thing. You'll have cars, you'll have scooters, you'll have people all jostling about. You'll have all the injuries that happen when that goes on. They expect to have the light rail system. I've seen photos, I don't know how this is supposed to work, transiting through intersections in Queen Street amongst the people. And then there's the issue of, you know, co-governance and a lot of Maori language everywhere that, quite frankly, only 1.5% of the Auckland population of 1.7 million can understand. That
whole issue of the language being forced, you force something, people push back. You allow something, people get inspired and want to do it. So the way they're running it has got so many people's backs up. And you can say, oh, that's racist. No, it's just human nature. You can't force humans to do things you want, but they are all out to force. And it feels like a very small cabal who've got a very big plan, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and they certainly do have a very big plan. And it's going to be very difficult to try and bring this to the public attention.
A lot of Aucklanders worried too about their suburbs being ruined with enormous high-rises next door to them, and again they've got no say, people feeling powerless there.
That's the big concern that came out of the meeting, at the mayoral candidates meeting in Kohimarama. So we had a lot of people there from Mission Bay, Kohimarama and St Heliers. You know, these are some of the richest places in Auckland, and the people there were mostly concerned about this. They have beautiful houses in those areas there, beautiful character houses, and at any time, apparently building regulations have been loosened to the point where a developer can come in, buy a property, and regardless of how beautiful the house is and how long it's been there and how good condition it is, they can still mow it down and build a 4-story block there.
and build right to the edge of the property with no trees, no greenery. So whether you can say, oh, that's an exclusive suburb looking after its own, in future years, our grandchildren will say, thank God they had some preservation of Auckland's history and didn't allow the voracious, greedy ones to exploit. It's tough going. What would you do in that case? So you would tell people, this is what's being pushed through council. Be aware. Come to meetings. Get involved. It's no longer a time just to say, leave it up to you guys to make all the changes. We all have to stand up now with you, don't we?
Absolutely. Now, the majority of the people at the mayoral candidate meeting in Kaimarama were, I would say, retired people. People who own their own big houses there. There were hardly any young people there at all. This is the problem, right? The house owners understand the risk that they have, but it's the young people who seem to be blissfully unaware of what's going on.
We need to take back our media so much and have discussions, have openness, have communication.
That's the most important thing. You know, at the moment, it's only getting aired on alternative media. It's certainly not getting any airplay on television whatsoever. Only the Labour Green agenda filter, you know, that's channeled through the local government. That's getting airplay, but nothing else.
Where can people find out more about you, read more about you?
Well, they can certainly read something about us in the document that they got with their voting papers, in the handbook, and I would refer them to that as well. Also, the council website has a profile of all the candidates of all the different groups who are running, and this, I have to say, is the most important council event ever. You know, in the Eastern Bloc countries, they never knew when their last election was going to be, their last democratic election, until it was no more. And we're in that position now. As outrageous as it might sound, we have to think that that is a real possibility. This could be the last democratic council election. It is the most important one that you'll ever have.
I said before in another interview with Shane, who's standing with you for Rock the Vote, I said, it's easy for me. I'm just going to go through the list that Stuff recommended of people not to vote for, and I'm going to tick those names, because anyone Stuff is saying not to vote for is one of the people I want. Independent, feisty, free-thinking, somebody who will not just go along with this agenda.
Right. Now, a lot of people would like to know who to vote for because they don't know. A lot of people have asked us. We've met with a lot of citizens and residents, people who are extremely nice, very intelligent, experts in their fields that they're focusing on, or that they want to focus on in council. And people of integrity. Really, we've met with them several times, and they're on the same page as we are, and they're certainly not interested in the city vision policies which are trying to really corral everybody into something of a controlled future in Auckland.
So definitely not city vision.
Definitely not city vision, but citizens and residents are very much worth giving your vote to.
Citizens and ratepayers. Is that it? Citizens, C&R.
I think, yes, C&R, yes.
All right. Last to finish, I do ask many people this. Will you look down the camera and act as if Jacinda Ardern is right there instead of a camera? And from your heart, you've got 1 minute to speak to this woman about what she's done over the last year and 2 years to your life, your friends' lives, your family's life, your business life, your city's life. This is a really sincere moment to just give your heart and a message that you would say, and begin it with Jacinda.
Jacinda, I can't believe what you've done. I honestly can't. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've been a traitor. You've been a traitor to the whole country and all the residents of this country. How could you do that? You've forced people into positions that were completely contrary to their will. You've misled them through the press, your mouthpiece, into believing things that are patently not true. But they don't know that it's not true because you keep telling them that you are the single voice of truth. I think that's something that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life, because people will find out, as they are doing now. Because as we know, the difference between conspiracy theory and conspiracy reality is about 6 months. So the truth is coming out, and it will continue to come out, and you'll be in a very difficult position. That's all I have to say.
Grant Mountjoy, it's been a real honour to talk to you, and definitely rock the vote, because you do. I'll be voting that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Liz. Thank you.